Wow. Oh my god. All I have to say is wow, wow, wow. I mean, come on. How incredible does this look? Running in real time, and I'm getting 110 frames a second solid. And you know what the best thing about all of this is that I'm actually running it in Unreal Engine 4. Haha, psych! So, I just wanted to do a little chat today about why I won't be switching to Unreal Engine 5 until the full release. Now, that isn't to say that you shouldn't use Unreal 5. You know, if you're just starting a new project, maybe it might be viable to switch to Unreal 5. But if you've been following my tutorials and my guides and stuff for any amount of time, you'll know that my delivery style and my sort of structure of these tutorials is very, I guess, program agnostic. You know, you could apply all of my shader tricks and stuff in Blender. The nodes might be called different things, but you can do everything that I do in Blender. You could do it in Unity, you know, with the Unity shader graph. So I will still be using Unreal Engine 4 for all of my tutorials. So that's what's going to be going on with the tutorials. As for Prismatica, the game, we won't be switching to Unreal Engine 5, at least not until the full production release. Now, the reasoning for that is, while Unreal Engine 5 is, you know, new and it's shiny and it's hype, it doesn't actually give us any benefits for this game specifically. Now, if we have a little look at our scene here, what's one thing that literally everything has in common? I'll give you a second. The answer is that it is all moving. It's all using world position offset. You know, the leaves are blowing, the grass is blowing, these bushes are doing their thing, the flowers, the trees are rocking back and forth. Absolutely everything is animated. And Nanite, while it is incredibly impressive technology, does not support world position offset. You can imagine if you had a bush that had like 1 billion verts in it, if you were using Nanite, it would have to calculate 1 billion different points in space to move around and that kind of thing. Nanite also doesn't support mesh painting. It does support vertex color, so like baked vertex color. But if I was to start, you know, painting on this mesh, you know, painting some render on it, and then let's paint it blue, you know, because nice contrast. So you can imagine, you know, for our cities and our buildings and stuff, we'd want them all to be painted different colors. And so everything would need its own unique mesh paint. So that isn't supported with Nanite, unfortunately. So none of the flagship features are really that useful to us, not to mention that it is, you know, just an early access, and, you know, all these features are not production ready, and we could run into bugs and, you know, fatal errors and stuff. But I think the main thing to keep in mind if you're thinking about moving to Unreal Engine 5 to build your product, your project, your game, these new features are aimed towards next generation consoles and, you know, more modern computers. And obviously with the shortages of GPUs and processors, you know, all around the world, people just can't get new hardware. And that's going to keep going on until next year. It is worth thinking about, you know, targeting as low as possible. And if you're, you know, really reliant on Lumen and Nanite and all of these, you know, really awesome features, if you're gonna let people with less powerful hardware play your game, you will have to do double the amount of work, because you'll have to make it work with Nanite and with traditional LODs, and you're gonna have to make it work with Lumen, and then you're also gonna have to do your baked lighting, or, you know, just deal with ambient occlusion. You're gonna have to deal with 2 separate different systems and make sure that it looks presentable with both systems. And so, you know, while I do understand the hype and the, you know, the amazing work that the Unreal Engine team have done with these new, you know, groundbreaking, earth-shattering features, I think as developers, we need to kind of take a step back, you know, take a deep breath and just think about it logically and think, hey, is this the feature that I need? Do I need this feature? Because at the end of the day, I do think that Lumen and Nanite are more geared towards virtual production. Like, they would be invaluable in virtual production. But as game developers, you know, we're developing games for an audience that might have really dated old hardware, or they might have the newest and shiniest graphics cards on the non-existent market. And so we do have to take into account the fact that not all systems are going to be able to run Lumen, they're not going to be able to run Nanite. Whereas things like virtual production or, you know, cinema stuff, they have an industry standard machine that they're running it on. You know, it's not like you it's not like you show up to, you know, the set of The Mandalorian and you bring along your Nintendo Switch to run all of the, you know, virtual scenes in. You bring your, you know, fully kitted out 15 million core CPU with two 3090 graphics cards in it to run the, you know, the LED backdrop. So I thought I'd just make this video, giving my thoughts on Unreal Engine 5. I was there during the live stream when they announced it at the end, and like I was chatting to everyone in the Discord, and we were all just like, you know, it was a crazy moment. But, you know, after sleeping on it and, you know, letting the hype just sizzle down a little bit and actually having a real think about it, I'm pretty confident that we aren't going to be using Unreal Engine 5 until its full release. So that's just some food for thought out of my brain. Obviously, you are free to make any decision you want, use any program that you want. And if you decide that, you know, jumping in Unreal Engine 5 in the early access is right for you, then that's absolutely the right decision. But, you know, I have thoughts. I like to share them. So with that, I say goodbye. Goodbye.